let's start. And hi everyone, my name is Evgeny Shvarov. I am InterSystems Developer Ecosystem Manager, and this is a traditional winners meetup, which takes place next Friday after the voting week. And this time we have a developer tools programming contest, and the winners of this contest. And actually, first of all, I want to say congratulations to all the participants, because this time we had a dozen of really good contributions. And thank you so much. And yes, we have 3 winners, but actually the whole community won, because we got a lot really bright set of developer tools. So thank you so much. And the agenda for today is very simple. So it's traditional. We first, of course, we start discussing hats fashion. Excuse me. Yeah. So first, we are having the demo of the presentation and demo of the winners. Everyone has like 5 minutes to present themselves, and 5 minutes for demo and Q&A. And in the end of our meeting, we will discuss what will be the next topic, and also how we can improve the things, how to make community how to make community better. Of course, it's a general topic every time, but also how to make contests better for everyone. Okay, great. So this time we have 3 winners, and as usual, we will start from our champion, from John Murray. Could you please, if you're ready to make a demo?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, and so please present yourself and make a show how your solution works. It became one of the winners of the developer tools InterSystems contest. Please.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah. So my name's John Murray. I'm senior product engineer at George James Software. We are based in the UK, and I've been building developer tools for the InterSystems platforms for more than 20 years. So when this contest theme came out as being developer tools, I decided I really ought to put an entry into it. So I've been working with Visual Studio Code as a developer environment for several years now, and we at George James Software have been building extensions for VS Code. I've also become involved in the project management committee for the InterSystems supported sponsored ObjectScript extension. And as part of that involvement, about a year or so ago, I created a server manager as a way of abstracting the definitions of what servers you connect to into a separate extension, because the way I see it, as more extensions get built for VS Code for the InterSystems community, one thing they will have in common is they'll probably want to connect to servers, and server manager's job is to centralize that and mean that other extensions don't have to worry about that. So the initial version of Server Manager had no kind of user interface, but for this competition, I decided to add a user interface to Server Manager to make that easier to use and also extensible going forward. So I think that's enough of the talk, and I will put up a screen share, and we should be able to start seeing what I've done. So
we do.
Here's a Visual Studio Code. I've set it up as a fairly clean install. It has no extensions installed to it yet, but I've gone to the extensions view on the activity bar, and in Marketplace I've searched for InterSystems-community, and that's identified extensions that have been contributed, have been published by InterSystems developer community. The extension that I recommend people start with is this one called InterSystems Object Script Extension Pack. It's just a bundler for 3 other extensions. So by installing extension pack, I then have the effect is that I get multiple extensions installed on the environment. 2 of them install quite quickly, Server Manager and Object Script. And the third one that's installing isn't published by InterSystems community, it's published by InterSystems, and it is the language server. So it didn't show up in my list here, but if I now clear this filter and I can see what I've got installed, I'll get rid of the popular stuff. I don't need to see the popular. The extension pack installed Server Manager, the Object Script extension, and the InterSystems language server. So my entry for the contest was Server Manager version 2. And the way that appears once you've installed it is that you've got a new button within the activity bar called InterSystems Tools. Clicking on that, we'll get a panel in InterSystems Tools called Servers, and this is the part that Server Manager is contributing. Because this is a clean install, it doesn't know about any servers to connect to. Server Manager is it's a relative, if you like, of if you've been using the InterSystems product on Windows, you'll be used to having a server manager down in off your queue for defining where you connect to. So if you have been doing that, you can go onto this menu and choose Import Servers from Windows Registry, and that will give you in VS Code definitions for all the servers that you've previously defined in the old Iris server manager or the Cache or Ensemble server managers. I'm not going to do that this time. I've got too many entries in there to demo. I'm just going to use the Add Server button here, and I'm going to create a server that I'm going to call demdev. So this is just a label for the server name. I'll describe it as being my demo dev environment. It's just descriptive text. Where is it? It's on a server whose host name is dem. What port does it run its web server on? In this case, it's 52774. What username would I like to connect as? Well, I could leave it empty, but since this is just for my VS Code, I may as well say I'm always going to connect as John M. And because I'm using the built-in web server, it's HTTP rather than HTTPS. So that's added an entry to my all servers list. We can ignore the 3 default ones here. This is the one I got that I just added in here. Because it's probably one I'm going to be working with for a bit, I'm going to click on the star here and favorite it. And that means it now appears here within the tree. I may also decide that since it's a dev server, I'm going to color code my servers. And a dev server I'm going to color as green. So now I've got a green server called demdev. If I then click the expand there, it's going to offer me the chance to go and look at the namespaces on the server. And because I was testing this on setup before, it already has a password stored for connecting onto that server. But if I go and back it out a level, take the password out from it, and then just refresh here, expand. First time in, it's going to say, well, what's the password for the user John M on this server? I can either have it that I enter the password every time, or I can use this button at the top, store the password in the keychain. And now by doing that, it will be stored on my workstation's keychain, and I won't need to enter it again when I'm browsing into this server. Once I can get onto the namespaces, I can use this as a way of establishing what the ObjectScript extension calls the ISFS type connections. So those are the connections that let you actually browse code directly onto the server. Now, even if you are doing your development client side and using Git for managing your sources client side, it can still be useful to browse source on the server. So if all you want to do is view source on the server, you can click on the view code in namespace button, and that will now create a workspace, a first folder in the workspace, which has got the information, the contents of that. I'm going to set the language server's preferred color scheme. But here I am in the web terminal namespace of my demdev server, and I can load code up from there. And because I chose to make it a read-only on the namespace, this is perfectly safe. I can't modify the code here, but I can browse it and I get all the coloring and I get the folding stuff in there. If you're doing server-side development, so maybe you're wanting to edit code in perhaps in the Ents demo namespace, you can use the pencil icon here, and that will add a second folder to my workspace here. This time, this is a folder for the Ents demo namespace on demdev, and this time I can go in and decide that I want to modify code within here. I can go and open up a class, and this can be. I can use the class method wizard to put that one in there. Save that. That saved it onto the server. So that's all the stuff that ObjectScript extension is doing. But Server Manager let me very quickly create my workspace connecting to the servers that I was interested in, whether read-only or editable, or if I go back here and I can say I'll go to the Ents demo one, or the user one probably, and decide to create a web app folder, which will let me find CSP files that are stored server side. So similar thing. Yeah, so that's what Server Manager 2.0 lets you do. It lets you browse what's there, set up connections to what's there, but it's also extensible. So in future, I think this tree is going to have more items in there and even more commands on here for other extensions. I think that's probably my time.
Yes, thank you, John. And as we can see, you have more than 5,000 installs of this application already. So it shows that it's useful and popular. So thank you. Do we have any questions to John? You are very well. Everyone who is on the call are very welcome to ask questions out loud or in a chat. And before we are waiting for the questions, I will use this opportunity to ask you, John, how is it? How does it work together with VS Code ObjectScript extension? Do you need it to be installed too, or a server manager is enough for everything you need in development with Iris from VS Code?
You will definitely need the ObjectScript extension, which is why I installed the ObjectScript extension pack, which brought the other 3 extensions in here. So Server Manager lets me set up definitions to connect to servers. But over here in my workspace, this is being presented by the ObjectScript extension. So these are server-side folders, what's called the ISFS connections to the specified server. So you have to have the ObjectScript extension in order to get the syntax. Well, you have to have language server to get the syntax coloring. You have to have ObjectScript extension to get the access to these files here. One thing I forgot to mention when I was on this view here was that you can also use this tree to launch management portal. So I'll just give myself a bit more space here. So if I want to run management portal onto the DemDev server, I can click on that, authenticate here. And now I'm using management portal on my dem server in the dev instance here, and I can go and do all the usual things within here. I can browse classes in namespaces and all that kind of thing. So that's a quick way of launching into management portal for servers that you're working on, whether it's your favorite servers or recently used servers, or indeed if you're in your all servers list, you might have multiple ones. You can have the management portal opened in a tab here within VS Code, or you can have it by clicking on this button here. You can have it opened in an external browser. VS Code wants you to grant permission for doing that, but once you've done that, then it will open up. And again, once I've authenticated there, I've now got portal on my dev instance on my dem server.
Okay, nice. Thank you. And we have another question from Guillaume. Is it possible to link server manager in VS Code settings JSON file?
Yeah, what's going on here is the UI bit is that it's just doing the changes within the settings JSON files. So with Server Manager version 1, you had to define your settings either using a command palette command or by editing the JSON file. But what you can now do with this UI bit is you can go and say down on here, if I go and say edit settings, it will take me to the settings for InterSystems servers, which is what Server Manager looks after. And I can say edit in the JSON file. And then here we are, that this is my DemDev server that I created. You'll remember I typed in the name, the description, the host name, the port, the username, and it put it all there within the JSON file.
That's much clearer now. So, John, thank you so much for such a great contribution to the community and participating in the contest. We are looking for your next application submissions in the following contests.
Thank you.
We have another question from Robert. He says, "Just assume you do." Robert, could you say it out loud?
Okay. What I tried to type is, I assume you don't complain if a new version is coming up differently to Studio that always complains that your old Studio doesn't work anymore if you have a new container, or all that really crazy stuff, I should say.
Yeah, the VS Code extensions that we're building, so Server Manager and the ObjectScript extension connect using APIs that are available from you know, all the recent versions of Cache and Ensemble and Iris, and as new versions of those platforms come in, it's not that you're forced to do upgrades within VS Code, but most people would have their VS Code updating the extensions automatically. So when a new version of Server Manager gets pushed to Marketplace, you'll probably have your VS Code will probably update to it automatically.
Thanks. I hope it is that way.
Yeah. You're muted there, Evgeny.
And you're very silent. Just write it down.
Evgeny has given up.
Okay. Okay, I start to share my screen right now. We create a quick presentation of our work, so make it easier. Everybody seeing my screen? Okay, so everyone seeing. So for this context, again, we teamed up, Jose and I, and we created an application we call as ZPM Explorer. So what's our project? A graphic interface to explore the applications that has inside the InterSystems packet manager. ZPM already does this, right? Using terminals, command lines, but here we try to a different approach, and why not create something different? Yes, ZPM in command line is perfect fine. We have a great application, ZPM show, created by our reference in tech development and Robert Semper. So use his application as an inspiration to create something similar using a different perspective, right? Here, ZPM Explorer has this home page when you can list all the applications inside, and you just select and inform which namespace you want to install the app. The second one here is the management, when you can see all the applications installed through ZPM in any namespace you have. It's pretty simple. You can update, delete, and export. This export is just a kind of wizard to help you create your model XML to your project. And the third page here it's more informative and to show what we have inside ZPM, right? And how the keywords are outstanding for each one, and what kind of applications, and this Sankey diagram we create to show how the developers are using the existing applications to interaction between them, right? I pass my word to Jose so he can show a quick demo of our application. Let's share my screen.
Thank you, Henrique. So let me share my screen. I think you guys are seeing my screen, right? So as Henrique said, this is the first, this the land page where you can play some some search for package. So by keywords to search for CSV or for REST or for terminal. You could see what packages attend to this keyword, and also you can install the package here. A new feature we have added since the contest was a suggestion made by Evgeny, if I can if I don't wrong, where you can choose which namespace you want to install the package. So let me install the web terminal, for example, in Iris app. So CPM installing. So okay, I have web terminal installed now. We also provide a link to the documentation. So if you want to know how to use the package, about how to use the web terminal, we just need to open it in the same domain. So now we have web terminal running. And okay, for this page is it. And now the installed page is the main page of the project, because here you can see all the installed packages in your instance, separated by namespace. You could update packages here, uninstall, and export to another ZPM application in a module XML file. So let's, for example, try to update SSL client, and the system said, okay, you can't because you have the latest version. So let's try to simulate a scenario where you have some updates. So I will to install CSV. Let me check if CSV gen isn't installed yet. So install CSV gen. I think its current version is CSV gen 1.1.11. So I will install immediately previous version. Okay, now come back to install. So now you can see the system warns you that you have available updates here, and lets you easily see which package you could update. So now I can update, and I have updated, and the warning is gone because you have no updates available anymore. You of course can uninstall your package, and you can make a selection and get the reference for the selection if you want to use this package into a new package in ZPM. And to finish, we did some more visual thing here. Well, I think we have an issue here because the system is trying to update the package, but the package was updated. Well, I have some issue here. I don't know why, because I tested it a few minutes before the presentation. Okay, so I will I can't show to you now, sorry. But you can see this this um, this output in this image here given by Henrique in presentation. So is a cloud are two graphs, um, a cloud graph and this kind of patch graphs here, which you can see the heritage of the packages in the repository. So that is I'm sorry, but the issue now. But if you try in your own PC, probably you see the graphs alive. So that is thank you for watching.
Desculpa, Evgeny.
No sound yet.
No sound.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not muted anymore. Yeah, I should say I'm quite impressed with what I've seen now. Not that the demo breaks. This is not the point. The point is a lot and quite a bunch of extra functionality. And what I'm very impressed is this service of showing the updates, which is quite common from the other tools that you have, whether it's your iPhone or your PC. Everyone tells you, hey, there's an update. And well, this is something I really like.
Thank you, Robert. Yes, we are working on, but we still haven't time yet to finish until today. So we adding this new feature to add new repositories and let the users choose which one he wants to work with. So make easier to load the package, to search the right repositories for you.
So
I think was two suggestions by Evgeny and Lorenzo. I think so.
No, the select the namespace was a suggestions by Sergey. But I think
yeah, sorry. So we are open to suggestions.
I have a technical question. Is there is there a REST API then for ZPM that you're using, or are you having? Do you have to load anything on your the package that you load? How much do you have to put in, or how much is already there with ZPM?
Oh, we use it all. We have to thank you, the guys behind the ZPM, because we are using all the endpoints provided by them. So we use an endpoint provided by ZPM to load all the packages, and for each packages we access another endpoint reading the manifest installers. So we can extract the keywords and the dependency between them.
For depend and when we haven't any endpoint in the REST API, we just used nice methods in ZPM utils package. For example, to export dependencies, to install packages are quite simple to use them. It's really a utility class, so it was very simple.
Hear me now? Maybe you hear me now?
Oh,
Oh, sticks. Yeah. So, yeah, sound is back, but I don't see you now. So hope you see me. You do see me. Um, okay. Yeah, guys. Really, thank you for such a great application. I shouldn't provide any personal feelings, but I think this could be one of my favorite apps on and on my in my Iris desktop. But so yes, so we didn't. The guys who are behind, like with ZPM team, there was a plan to introduce a UI, and so you just did it, and maybe we will use ZPM Explorer as a standard UI. So of course it is already does a lot what we wanted to do, and this dependency tree and this like install out. My quick question. So I saw this, like there is an update notification. Will it send us a push notifications on a mobile phone that there is an update needed in somewhere in some server? So it sounds it's like a warning sign, but I think maybe it will be really great to see. And at the end of the day, yeah. So you need to update your system because there are some new packages available. So this is really nice thing, I think. And maybe you can use for this some other packages on the developer community, like just to send some notifications. Okay, great. And thank you so much. And let's give a word to our another winner. Lorenzo, are you with us? Could you start? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Lorenzo, please. Yes. As usual, as with everyone, with every winner, please introduce yourself, and then make a show, please, how your great application works.
Okay, so my name is Lorenzo Scalese. I come from Belgium. I'm solution architect at Zorgi. This is a specialist and Belgian market leader in IT solution for the healthcare sector. I mainly work with InterSystems technology since 14 years. So for this contest, I develop a config API. Why this application? Just I notice that I rewrite the same code each time I need to deploy an application to write a script for deploy the application. This is the main reason of this development. I use a manifest installer, a set of classes in %6 namespace, but the target of this application is to don't code for the configuration of Iris. So for that, I define a document structure has been defined in JSON format. Why JSON? Because it's simply a format easy to read, to write, and it's native in ObjectScript. Also, it's an excellent choice to REST expose extension. The rupture between the code and configuration allow a very flexible usage. You can use it for simply configure Iris for starting development, or build your Docker image for your application, or use with ZPM. Simply. For the demonstration, I use InterSystem Iris dev template by Evgeny. I simply modified to use config API instead of %installer. As you can see in the iris.script file, we perform a zip-pm install config API, and then we call a class method for loading a configuration file. So now let's see the configuration file. This is a very simple configuration file. We can do a lot of we can set a lot of settings, but for the demo we use a very small small file. The default section is for use variable as a %installer class or the module XML file used by ZPM. A section for sys database to create the database. Donc, the key is simply the path of the database. If you set anything, we use simply the default system setting for the database. And then we set the name of this database. Simply see iris app will be replaced at runtime with this variable. The directory, create a namespace, iris app again. We set the global database iris app, and then we added a ZPM section. Follow a discussion on the article on the community. There is possibilities to load or to perform ZPM commands. Which I perform simply a load as iris.script do usually. So let's start the container. Okay. Oh. I lost my terminal. Just gonna turn. Okay. You can see we have iris app namespace and the DC package sample has been loaded in iris app instead of users. Followed the configuration file. So you can edit this file and adapt with your need, create multiple namespace, multiple database, CSP application, or system settings. There is a lot of settings could be set. Also, there is a REST API for all settings. Well, perhaps it's not really. Perhaps it's useless for common developers, but it's an open door for create an UI if needed, or for connecting the settings with an existing application. If you use a centralized application for setting up application. Just, you can see the list of services available. I use the Swagger 2.0 specification. Loading, you can load a configuration by a simple REST call and put the content of the configuration directly in a request. Can export the configuration, by, for example, set a user, get the user list, for example. You have the list of the existing user on the instance. There's a lot of service available. You can see the list of database, namespace, global mapping, SQL connection, etc. I have a small problem with yes. You can see the list of the database in the systems with all settings. Also, you can combine this this application with ZPM. Just correct folder. If you use config API as a dependency of your application, you can invoke the loader after import your code. It could be useful if you need to create a database for your module and set global mapping, for example. So you can see a load from config API. The Docker file puts the config file into the container during the build. See that here. I'll just and perform everything is needed. For example, I create a database demo. Add a global mapping on the DC package sample on the database demo. It's too slow. I'm working on a virtual machine. There is latency. Okay. It's not finished. I would like to show the portal management with the new database created, but I need the system. Okay, it's okay. It's the connection. We can see the database is not mounted because there is no access on this database for the moment. And on the namespace configuration, you can see the DC package samples entry with a global mapping. So, okay, if you have any questions about this application.
Well, I think there is a side effect on this application that is, to me at least, tremendous important. over 20 years with Cache and now with Iris, we had no real tracking of configurations. So if you change a configuration, now with this approach, with the configuration in a JSON file and a file, I can really do source management and follow up what was changed and what was before and what was a week before. That is to a limited extent, it's already in the product, and there are versions written into the manager directory. But this is no source management in that sense that I can compare and say, hey, what was changed? And that's the important. That's a tremendous advantage. And then you can take this thing and port it to your next installation and to your third server and the fourth and the fifth. And this is something, and of course you can add commands we see here, but I think it's very important to have something like this if you have more than 2 machines. I like it. I really like it.
I don't show, but it's possible to export the configuration and also just export the system setting around default value. So if needed, we can see easily what's changed between
Lorenzo,
comment dire? Yes.
I do have a question here. How do you handle mirroring with your file? Is it possible to handle this stuff? And because it's such a mess when you are working with mirroring with InterSystems, because you have to copy each time all the settings from one instance to the other instance. And is it possible to do so with this plugin?
Currently, only the CPF mirrors section has been implemented, but I need to implement a class. It's not security class. It's not. There is a class in processes namespace to configure the mirror, and I need it. I will develop, but I don't have any time to do this for the contest. It's sure I develop because at work we use mirroring, and I want to extend the current features with mirroring. I check what's the class. But, the sun again.
Yeah, Evgeny, we're done. But stay tuned with developers community, and we'll see you soon for the next contest if Evgeny don't join us. I think. And wrap it up, or
what's the target of the next contest?
It's a secret. We will announce it soon on developers community.
Yeah, to work a little bit in advance.
I can't give such spoilers, Robert, even if Evgeny is not here.
Yeah.
Maybe next time. you tell people that you will announce the new contest when you're looking at the winners of the current contest, and then more people will attend these sessions. So we only have 12 participants this time. So
that's a good idea, John. Yeah, we might just do that.
or maybe you have to offer points on Global Masters, and then lots of people will be here.
That's also an idea.
Points for participating. Yeah.
The quantity doesn't matter. What matters is the quality. So 12 quality people is way better than 50.
Oh yeah, the application should work and exist at least.
It's gone completely now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it's time to
we
go.
will follow him.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Great.
So much. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.